Hey y'all, it's Poseidon. In today's video, I wanted to talk about something that came up in the Omni-man Tremor gameplay reveal trailer. It was a gameplay reveal, or is the combat cast? That's what it was. Sorry about that. But in the combat cast today, that was featuring Omni-man and Tremor, they brought up the fact that Kombat League is now going to go from 3 out of 5 to 2 out of 3. And a lot of people seem to be upset about this. When I heard that, I actually made a tweet about it, and it actually, got a lot of community feedback and stuff like that. And I'll go over that in a little bit. But what a lot of people really seem to be pointing at is this tweet that Ed Boon made a few days ago, asking what essentially the community wanted. He asked, do you want crossplay? Do you want ranked best 2 out of 3? Do you want ping filters? Do you want Wi-Fi filters? And ping and Wi-Fi filters are they're pretty similar. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone will be like, oh, no, they're actually a huge difference. But they kind of seem like the same thing. So realistically, potentially, the thing that got the least amount of votes that people wanted changed was ranked. And so a lot of people are pointing to this, be like, hey, like you asked what we wanted. We overwhelmingly said crossplay. And then you'll come out and say, hey, you guys, we're going to change ranked to best 2 out of 3. And for me personally, I haven't even really seen many people complain that the rank system is 3 out of 5 instead of 2 out of 3. I've seen a lot of people even like it. I've seen a little comments here and there, people saying I wish it was 2 out of 3, but not really overwhelming compared to a lot of the other things that people have complained about, especially one of the biggest being crossplay. So it's just very interesting that they elected to do this, maybe because it was just an easy switch. Maybe it's something that a lot of people, maybe outside of the competitive community, because a lot of especially my Twitter feed, for example, is filled with a lot of people in the competitive community. And that begs another question I'll get into later, but does the NRS scene, or at least NRS Studios, favor casuals over the competitive scene? I mean, that's where a lot of the money is and stuff like that. It makes sense, but you see a lot of competitive outrage with this update. So let me just go over what some other people have said on it too. We got Cosner here. He is a reptile player, very, very strong, potentially one of the best in the world. You can see right here, 2 out of 3 in KL. Nope, don't like that. Understandable. We got Dylan Lloyd right here saying, glad he was able to reach Elder God in the first to 3 era. This first to 2 shit is going to be some ass. Tier wars are going to think they're amazing for getting 2 dubs and dipping before you can download their scrubbiness. And then what that comes down to is he's essentially saying that being 2 out of 3 is going to allow for the worst player of the 2 playing to win more often. Not to say they're going to win more games. Like, obviously the better players are going to win still the majority of the time. But with 2 out of 3, it doesn't allow for more adaptation. It doesn't allow for maybe some cheese to happen, maybe a crazy situation where someone gets a 50% combo and wins a game, steals a game. So the odds that the worst player ends up winning the set are a lot higher in a first to 2 format. We got my boy Brett Geezy here saying losing first to 3 is ass. I get it's more casual friendly by IDK. I feel like there should be at least an option to run first to 2 or first to 3. The game already ain't got modes, so why are we taking away more? Which is understandable, because that's something that a lot of people complained about as well, is the lack of game modes and the lack of content within the game. So this actually makes a lot of sense. And I'll actually get to, because people are saying, oh, I wish I had options. I wish we could filter best 2 out of 3 or best 3 out of 5. So I'll actually give you something at the end of this video where you actually will be able to get that choice in a competitive or in a ranked format, but I'll get to that a little later. Right here we got Violets, and he's going back, harping over the point, and says, what is this? He has some pictures showing they look the crossplay, 1 in the majority, and then NRS comes 2 out of 3. And then we're like, community's like, what do you mean? Essentially, I really like this post, Violets. Very, very funny person. Make sure to drop all these people follow if you see them. And you see this video, drop them a follow. I'm sure they would really appreciate it. We got a very, very strong player right here, top 24 at ECT Cease, coming there and say, I didn't play much KL before, but now that it's first to 2, y'all won't see me at it at all. You won't see me at all. Okay, sorry. Can't read a little bit, but yeah, you see right here, people. A lot of the competitive community is just like 2 out of 3. I'm not feeling that. Got Sparks right here, an up-and-coming Tanya player, very, very strong. So I understand the change for casuals because there's where the bread comes from, but what casual wanted 2 out of 3, first to 2 out of 3 ranked over crossplay? And I don't think anyone did, and I think it's just an easier to implement thing. But what it comes down to is, yeah, does the NRS community, or not the NRS community, does NRS in general favor the casual community. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this game more centered around the opinions of casuals over the people in the competitive community? And people are inclined to say, yeah, they do. Oh, that's where the money is. Most people are casuals. But the thing is, most of the people that are playing the game, people that are going to be playing the game 2, 3, 4, 8 months, a year from now, are going to be the competitive players. The casual community is going to be gone soon, and there's going to be still casual people who play here and there, but the competitive people are the diehards, the people that are playing this game every day. So even if they are less, there are people who play the game more. You know, like the 80-20 rule. Like people who play the game 80% of the time played on this game is going to be played by 20% of the player base, and that 20% is a lot of the competitive community. So we're going to go right over here. We're going to go to my tweet where I said, Kale turned into 2 out of 3. How do y'all feel? And we got like roughly in the beginning, or at least even overall in the comments of this, it was roughly 50-50. You see here my boy Fido the Man saying, I like it, move on to the next player. We got Nick's very, very strong player saying 2 out of 3 is fine. Kale takes so long. And it does. It really would. 3 out of 5, you would be in a 3 out of 5 set sometimes for upwards of 15 to 20 minutes, which is a while. So you could only get like 2 or 3 sets in when a game like MK11, when it was 2 out of 3, you could get like 5-6 sets in an hour, maybe even more. That's really cool. We see Tweak FGC right here saying absolutely hate it. 2 out of 3. Oh, he meant to say 3 out of 5 here. With all the randomness and cameo BS. Really do not like the change. And then we got Delta right here saying he loves it. I don't know, so woke up every day and goes, how can we make our game worse? We got Zintai right here, one of the best Guilty Gear players, I think top 50 in the world at least. And one of the rankings, very, very strong Mortal Kombat player, top 8 C Otaku, saying, I get so much data from a 3 out of 5 KL set. When my opponent can't adapt, I do not like the change. And that is fair because it doesn't allow for a lot of those adaptations. Really, when you're starting to get into that adaptation 2 out of 3. And this is why there was a lot of outrage when there was a lot of tournaments going on where people were running 2 out of 3, is that like it felt so short and it felt like you really didn't have time to adapt in a 2 out of 3. So it's kind of like NRS is kind of like, okay, competitive like tournaments are going to be 3 out of 5. ECT Pro Compliment was 3 out of 5, but ranked a little bit more casual, still a competitive setting, but more casual is going to be 2 out of 3. And yeah, you see a lot of other people go on and says, you know, it's nice, you don't have to be sticking with laggy people all the time, which is fair. Shouldn't I feel there has to be a lot of feedback from the community? Asking for this change just feels so random and abrupt. Not the worst change ever, but personally prefer 3 out of 5. You can just see a lot of people. It goes back and forth, recently with this, like in the comments. When you look at just Twitter, and like I don't really see anyone speaking up about how great it is, but I've seen a lot of people in the comments of this tweet talking about, you know, 2 out of 3 really isn't that bad. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think? Is 2 out of 3 better for Kombat League or 3 out of 5? The NRS make a mistake here, and the odds are that they changed it. They're probably not going to change it back, even if there is a lot of outrage. So odds are we're here, and we're going to be 2 out of 3 Kombat League for the rest of this game cycle, most likely. So if that's something you do not like, if you are not someone who wanted this 2 out of 3 format and you want a 3 out of 5 format instead, and you want to play like a system where you can get rankings and play when you want to, stuff like that, there actually is another option, an ulterior method, and it is made by my team, Damascus Gaming. Right here in the Discord, you can see the Combatants Arena. I will leave a link to the Discord in the comment section of this video. And here, what you can do is you can join and you can actually queue matches for Kombat League or ranked sets. Essentially, you can see there's leaderboards, match reports. You can check your rank. You can check a lot of stuff right here. This is a newer thing, so it isn't really built up with a ton of stuff yet. Like you can really see the leaderboards and stuff like that. However, when more people start to get in and stuff like that, this thing will start to get built up, and there's going to be a lot of feedback. So there'll be feedback loops. So if you have a problem of this player's, connection is really bad, or this person's, lag switcher, this person's, cheating somehow, there will be feedback, which you don't really get in the RS community. Like if the ping is within the threshold, you essentially have to play that match. And sometimes even if you get booted because of the match, you'll end up taking a loss. But in this, there will be contention, there will be a lot of support. So you don't really need to worry about that. So not only is it just potentially a better alternative, but you will also get those 3 out of 5 there. So definitely make sure to check that out. I'll leave a link in the description of the video. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Is 3 out of 5 good? Does NRS, or is 2 out of 3 good? And does NRS favor the casual community input over the competitive? Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not. I would greatly appreciate it, and definitely make sure to subscribe. Oh, I already said that, but do that, please. Do that. Subscribe. I'll see you at the next video.